What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to 5 and 5 Friday. This is number 2, and I'm Tanner Recklitis. Today, we're going to talk about effectual reasoning, how to move towards an uncertain destination. So, we got 5 minutes. Let's get right into it. So, if we're going to talk about effectual reasoning, we first need to talk about causal reasoning, which is its opposite. So, for this example, we're going to talk about promoting someone to a new role inside of a company. So causal reasoning is this idea that you have a predetermined goal and then a given set of means. And it's just your job to identify the best, so the fastest, the cheapest, the most efficient alternative or route to achieve that given goal. So for this example, right, it's like, hey, we need to promote somebody to this specific role. Now we're going to take a look at everybody who is a potential fit for that role. We're just going to analyze them relative to the job description that we've written up or the idea of what that looks like. And then we're just going to execute on it, right? So this is how most companies operate. This is how most people generally like to think about things. Set a goal and then find out, all the different paths and then just go do it. Now, there's a second kind of corollary or related part of causal reasoning, which is creative causal reasoning. You could also call this strategic thinking. I like to imagine this as winning a football game, right? The goal is very defined. You want to score more points than the other team. So how do you do it? You obviously score more points. And then, but within those constraints, there's creative ways. So think about like Bill Walsh and his invention of the West Coast offense. Think about all the different football coaches, football players who have uh, innovated, right, new ways to achieve that goal. That's really what strategic thinking is. It's okay, there's these given means. So back 75 years, football was dominated by the run game, right? And now if you watch a football game, yeah, I mean, teams still run the ball, but nowhere near like they used to. There's a new way of doing things. So that's creative causal reasoning. But now we're going to get into effectual reasoning. And effectual reasoning, I'm actually going to start with a quote by the author who wrote a tremendous paper on this concept. And she says, effectual reasoning, however, does not begin with a specific goal. Instead, it begins with a given set of means and allows goals to emerge contingently over time from the varied imagination and diverse aspirations of the founders and the people they interact with. So how you do this, right? So this is a great example of how to use effectual reasoning is building your career. You're like, I don't know what I want to do. I mean, personally, it's like this can be a very tough question when somebody asks me because I'm like, I don't know, I'm 27 years old. I don't know what I want to do. I'm just doing what I'm currently doing. So you start out by setting a vague long-term goal. It's like, hey, here's like generally the direction that I want to move in, but you can remain very broad, very open. Beyond that, so the next step would be, take inventory of your current means, or I like to think of it as assets. So you're just going to look around. You're going to be like, what do I have at my disposal? And we'll get into a little bit more of the specifics on that in a minute. Then you're going to say, okay, using what I have, how can I create something from this? What can I create with what I have? Then beyond that, you're going to execute, you're going to review, you're going to realign your action plan, and then that is going to loop around, right? And that can go on every week, every month, every day, preferably, right? Where you're taking action and generating new means, new connections, all that kind of stuff. Basically, action produces new means, and then those means are going to open up new possible ends for you to go explore. So in terms of types of means, there's basically 3 types. So first would be, who you are. It's your innate and developed, traits, tastes, character, abilities. For me, I've listed out 4 there for you to take a look at that are relevant for me. Next is what you know. It's your education, your training, your experiences, your expertise, your stories. And then beyond that, it's who you know. So it's your social and professional connections. And then there's 3 principles of effectual reasoning as well. First is the affordable loss principle. So staying in the game is super important. Not taking what Daniel Vassallo would call an imprudent risk, but you want to make sure that you're able to stay in the game by reaching the market with minimal resource expenditure. Don't invest all your money on your first venture. Make sure that you're getting to the market. You're able to get feedback without giving away and spending all of your resources. Next is strategic partnerships. It's this idea that who is often more important than what or how to unlock doors. So you're trying to find ways to connect your work with other people, and it's really your main source of asset or mean generation. And then third is leveraging contingencies. And this is the idea that you want to make uncertainty and surprise your friend. A lot of times in causal reasoning, you really don't like surprise, but instead for this, time, randomness, chance, they become your ally as long as you align with the affordable loss principle. So in review, I know it's super short overview. Causal reasoning is what you do when the goal is clear and the rules are defined. You're going to find and execute the single best path to get there. Effectual reasoning, it's when the desired outcome isn't clear and the rules are undefined, right? And overall, it's the iterative process of using our currently available means or assets to create the future. So I hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something, and looking forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.